them all, but I'm made up. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
Welcome to the deep dive. The headlines are definitely buzzing around the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It involves these really serious federal charges, sex trafficking, racketeering.
Yeah.
Which is basically, organized crime stuff.
Right. And transportation for prostitution. Heavy charges.
Exactly. And a name that popped up, someone who initially seemed like she might get pulled right into the middle of it all, is Aubrey O'Day.
Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane.
That's the one. For those of you who remember MTV's Making the Band, she really rose to fame there with Danity Kane, a group Diddy essentially, created.
So her history is deeply tied to him, which makes the recent speculation understandable.
Completely. What's the real story, though, with her involvement or maybe lack of involvement now?
Well, that's what's fascinating, isn't it? How quickly things can shift or how assumptions get built up in these really high-profile situations.
Definitely.
Someone like O'Day, whose career is so linked with Combs, naturally, people speculate. And that speculation really ramped up just recently.
It absolutely did. Just before the trial started, May 14th, I think it was, O'Day posts this video. She's in New York City.
Okay.
Seems innocent enough, asking for recommendations. But then she includes this emoji, a weighing scale.
Oh, right. The scales of justice emoji.
Exactly. And when you see that next to this huge trial kicking off, it's hard not to think, okay, she's hinting at something. Court, testimony, justice.
Yeah, you immediately connect those dots. That emoji, in that specific context, it carries a lot of weight. No pun intended.
Oh, right.
And there were those earlier reports, too, aren't there? Whispers that maybe she'd gotten a subpoena's, legal order to show up.
There were, but the story just took a complete U-turn.
Okay, so what happened?
We now know People magazine reported it, and she confirmed it herself. Actually, she confirmed it on the premiere of her new podcast.
Oh, she has a new podcast covering this.
Yeah, it's with iHeartRadio, called Amy Robach and TJ Holmes Present, Aubrey O'Day, covering the Diddy trial. And right there, she says she will not be testifying.
Wow. Okay. So the scale emoji, maybe not what everyone thought, a red herring. Or maybe something else entirely.
Could be. Her deciding to announce it like that on her own show, it's quite a move, don't you think?
It really is. Gives her total control of the message, lets her frame it herself, and tackle those rumors head on.
She specifically said she's not in New York to testify. She did add, not that I know of, which,
Leaves a tiny bit of wiggle room, maybe. But the main point is clear. No planned testimony.
Right. But she did add something else pretty crucial. She mentioned she was contacted by Homeland Security and that she did have a meeting with Homeland Security. So while she's not taking the stand, it seems she has been involved in the wider investigation somehow.
That context, that's significant. It definitely tells you that investigators probably thought she might know something useful.
Given her history with Combs, yeah. Making the Band, Danity Kane.
Exactly. But her deciding not to testify now, well, it could mean a few things. Maybe what she told them wasn't quite essential for the prosecution's case in court.
Or maybe other reasons. Personal. Strategic.
Could be. It does make you wonder, though, what goes into that kind of decision for someone who might have insights but stays out of the courtroom spotlight.
It really does. And we have to keep reminding ourselves just how serious this whole situation is. Sean Combs pleaded not guilty.
Not guilty to all these federal charges, yeah.
Sex trafficking, racketeering. He was arrested back in September 2024, and he's currently being held without bail.
And facing, potentially, life in prison if convicted. The stakes are incredibly high.
Absolutely. So while Aubrey O'Day's role seems to be shifting to commentator rather than witness, the trial itself is already bringing out some major information.
Definitely. Primarily through the testimony of Cassie Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend.
Cassie's testimony has been, incredibly powerful. It's really shaped public perception, I think.
No doubt. She described a relationship she says was just full of emotional abuse, coercion.
She even talked about participating in sex parties, freak-offs, she called them, saying she did it out of affection for Combs.
And then there was that 2016 hotel surveillance video that CNN released. That added a very stark visual element to her claims of abuse.
How much impact do you think that specific footage has?
I think it makes the allegations much more tangible for people following along. It's one thing to hear about it, another to see even a glimpse. And you have to remember, this isn't entirely out of the blue from her.
Right, the civil suit.
Exactly. Before any of this criminal investigation really got going, she filed that civil lawsuit against Combs alleging rape, physical abuse.
And that settled really fast, didn't it? For a lot of money.
Very fast. $20 million settlement.
Yeah.
While a settlement isn't an admission of guilt, that large amount settled so quickly, it definitely seemed to open the floodgates for more allegations and ultimately this federal investigation.
Okay, so let's try and bring it all together for you listening. Despite all that early buzz, the Instagram post, the emoji, Aubrey O'Day has now stated very clearly, yes, Homeland Security contacted her. Yes, she met with them.
But crucially, she will not be testifying in the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
And her being in New York right when the trial started, apparently completely unrelated to any plans to take the stand.
So you place that piece of information alongside what else we know. We've heard these significant allegations from Cassandra Ventura.
Allegations of serious abuse and coercion.
Backed up by her prior civil suit and that large settlement. And this trial, it only started May 12th. It's expected to go on for weeks. We'll likely hear a lot more.
And Combs, meanwhile, continues to deny everything, maintains his innocence completely.
Right.
And for those of you interested in hearing more directly from Aubrey O'Day, her new podcast, Aubrey O'Day, covering the Diddy trial, is apparently going to release more episodes as the trial unfolds.
So she'll be offering her perspective from the sidelines, it seems.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting in its own right.
Definitely.
You know, this whole arc, the cryptic post, the speculation it fueled, and then this clear announcement, it really just highlights the complex dynamics, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The personal histories, the legal strategies, everything tangled up in these huge, highly publicized cases.
It really does. It leaves you thinking. Considering her initial hint, even if unintentional, and then her decision to address it so publicly on her own terms, what other complexities, maybe less visible factors, might be influencing the choices people make when they're caught up in the orbit of something this massive and scrutinized?
That's the question, isn't it? What goes on behind the scenes that we never really see?
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.